Today, many of us are unaware of what the Equalization Fund is doing in our respective areas. Even governors do not know what the Equalization Fund is doing. Why? Because the money is considered to be national government that is managed through national government administrative structures. And that is why yesterday we had this problem, where the National Assembly has come up with a parallel bill on the Equalization Fund, because they still think that that money is theirs, that money is for their control, but we allowed it to happen, Madam Speaker. I wish Senator Faki was here. He would have told us that he promised this House that let us pass these regulations to allow access to the fund, because the fund had not been drawn for a long time for lack of regulations. And he promised, and he told us here that the government had promised that we're going to bring amendments. To date, I do not think the amendments that have been brought. And so that is why we must annul these regulations, so that no one promises us that they'll be amended. They will never be amended out of experience. Madam Speaker, let me finalize by calling upon my colleagues that whatever we are doing here in this House is our primary responsibility as elected leaders. Madam Speaker, a poll was conducted in the United Kingdom to find out what the public expects of members of parliament. Lawmaking was like the last priority or the last expectation. If a similar poll was to be conducted here in Kenya, Madam Speaker, I can tell you that the people we represent, their expectation of a member of parliament, including senator and member of National Assembly, expectation number one is to build classrooms. Expectation number two, to issue bursaries. Number three, to attend funerals. Number four, to issue handouts without fail. Number five is to attend rallies where you can insult imaginary and real enemies. And number 5, 6 could be issuance of statements. Lawmaking is the least glamorous and is the least considered job of a member here. Madam Speaker, I see and I admire even the new members of this parliament. Senator Sifuna joined in this 13th parliament. He is here not just because he's a whip, but he believes that the core mandate, the critical duty of a legislator is to legislate, not empowerment rallies, even though I saw him doing an empowerment one the other day. But it is not the money that caught my attention. It was the conversation that caught my attention. But that's a story for another day. But he knows that being in this House is the reason why the people of Nairobi elected him. Madam Speaker, the senator from Nandi, he is in this House religiously, even though he's a bit of a noisy one, but he knows that that is the core mandate of a senator or a representative who has been brought here. Let me call upon my brothers and sisters who have been elected that at the end of the day, the funerals you contribute to, the handouts you give, they'll be like no one will remember them, Madam Speaker. Out of my experience, it is the last person to do a Harambe who is remembered. The Harambe you did in 2021, 2022, 2023. In 2026, your opponent will do a bigger Harambe. He'll come with Farouk to do a bigger Harambe. All your small Harambes will have been forgotten. But your record and active participation in Parliament will live on. Madam Speaker, today we went to do prayers for Phoebe Asio. And everyone reminds Phoebe Asio for the motion that she introduced in this House that called for gender equity, that called for opening up the space. People did not eulogize her because she did a Harambe somewhere and donated desks, or because she sorted out some boys in some center. People like Martin Shikuku are remembered for their speeches and statements in this House. People like George Anyona, it's not because of their donations. And so as we head into the weekend, and I know some of my colleagues are going to board choppers and are going for empowerment things, please, let us focus on policy, legislation, regulation that can provide a level playing field for all Kenyans to be able to access opportunities, for all Kenyans to get empowerment. The idea of donating 64 shillings to women groups or 1,000 shillings to women group is tokenism, is a handout culture. And Madam Speaker, the party that I subscribe to, the ODM Party, has always been against using Harambe as a model for development, because Harambe fuels corruption. When someone whose salary at net is 150,000 is donating 5 million in 1 month, that is corruption looking at you straight in the eye. And Madam Speaker, we are not going to grow this country if we continue with this pretense of empowerment rallies and empowerment arambes. That cannot be our model for development. Madam Speaker, I support, yes.
Senator Kajwang, do you want to be informed?
Cautiously, yes. Very cautiously.
Madam Speaker, I want to inform my chair, Park, and I like his eloquence, that the ODM Secretary General, Senator Sifunda, donated 1 million in Saboti, Amis. So does it mean, if he says they don't subscribe, does it mean there is that there should be clarity on what he say?
Senator Kajwang.
Madam Speaker, that is a frivolous point of information. My Secretary General declared the source of his contribution. He declared, including members of this House, and so he fully accounted for it. Madam Speaker, with those many remarks, I support the report of the committee.
Senator